Hudson asked me about the jade pendant, and I lied, saying I lost it. He was so anxious that he sent the educated youth up the mountain to search. In my previous life, Hudson gave the jade pendant my mother left for me to Zara. Zara used the spiritual spring in the pendant to create delicious snacks. I, however, was tricked by Zara to go up the mountain to feed wild boars. My father and brother were heartbroken upon learning of my death, and they cut ties with Hudson and Zara, taking advantage of the educated youth going up the mountain. I bit my finger and dripped blood on the jade pendant to claim it, ensuring that no one could take it away now. In 10 days, my brother will come to pick me up. Lulu, where is your jade pendant? Zara said she misses Mrs. Lee and wants to borrow it to take a look. Hudson looked sincere, seeing that I didn't respond. He urged me anxiously. Am I reborn? Zara is the daughter of my dad's comrade. Her mother ran away with someone, leaving her all alone at home. My dad felt sorry for her and adopted her. Missing my mom? Is wanting my mom's attention just about stealing her daughter's fiancé? I retorted coldly. He stammered for a long time. His face flushed. Zara is your sister, so she is naturally my sister too. Don't be so harsh. I raised my hand to stop him. I don't know where the jade pendant went. Also, don't say that. My parents only had me and my brother. It was midwinter, and the educated youth camp was short on firewood, so everyone was wearing thick, heavy cotton coats. Hudson couldn't tell whether I had the jade pendant around my neck. He looked at me suspiciously, struggling for a moment. After all, it was Mrs. Lee who left it to you. Where did you lose it? I'll go find it for you. I don't know. Maybe I lost it while going up the mountain to pick pig grass. He nodded absent-mindedly and hurried to find Zara. I took out the jade pendant and resolutely thought about biting my finger. Unable to harden my heart, I went to the kitchen, took a kitchen knife, and sliced my fingertip. Spiritual energy flows. The jade pendant gradually disappeared from my hand. I closed my eyes, and with a thought, something stirred. No wonder in the last life Hudson borrowed my jade pendant from Zara, and after she said it was lost, I couldn't find it no matter how I searched her luggage. So it turns out you've acknowledged your master. I squeezed a few drops of the spiritual spring into my water bottle and drank it. Indeed, there was a sweet taste, and the fatigue in my body eased. I rolled up my pant legs to take a look. The wounds left by the hoe showed no signs of healing. It seems that this spiritual spring can only alleviate fatigue, without any miraculous effects. Taking a light breath. That's good. Possessing such a magical object makes me afraid as well. There are only my brother and me at home. My brother is serving in the Northwest. Originally, according to the policy, I didn't have to go to the countryside. Zara ran over to tell me Hudson is going to the countryside. I have been obsessed with Hudson since I was young, begging my father to allow me to go to the countryside. Thinking about my previous life, how sad my father and brother must have been to hear the news of my death. My nose tinged with sadness, and I couldn't help but redden my eyes. I was just reminiscing about my father and brother. The door was violently thrown open. Hudson was covered in dirt. Lulu, where on earth did you go yesterday? Everyone searched the foot of the mountain, but couldn't find you. I didn't even look up. Oh, that must have been from the day before yesterday. Zara, with a look of wanting to cry but holding back, timidly looked at me and said, Lulu, this is Mrs. Lee's relic. How can you be so indifferent? You also know it's my mom's stuff, not your mom's stuff, right? Julia jumped out, looking very displeased. Lulu, how can you speak like that? Zara is also concerned about you. You really have no conscience. I impatiently said. Are you guys annoying? Did I ask you to find my lost stuff? Zara's tears fell in a patter, looking at me in disbelief, as if I had said something that deserved to be struck by lightning. Then she turned and ran away crying. Julia hurriedly followed behind. Hudson looked at me with a conflicted expression. Lulu, Zara is still young. After saying that, he hurried to catch up. It's true that Zara is indeed young, just a month younger than me. Clearly, we are both 18 years old. Those who don't know would think she is only 18 months old. I rolled my eyes and continued packing my luggage. Although my luggage isn't much, I still have 2 suitcases. Tomorrow, I'll go to town to make a phone call and conveniently send some things back home. I rummaged through the suitcase for a long time and found a bag of shrimp chips and a dozen milk candies. Wiping my tears, I took some snacks and headed towards the captain's house. Just as I arrived at the captain's doorstep, I saw the captain's wife sweeping the yard. I smiled and said, "Auntie, is the captain home?" The captain's wife was taken aback for a moment and said coldly, "What brings you here on such a gust of wind? In my previous life, I always complained that there was too much work in the fields and found ways to slack off. I also had a poor attitude towards the villagers, but after I died, Hudson and Zara didn't take care of my corpse. It was the villagers who worked together to carry me down from the mountain. Only when my father and brother come can I see my complete body." I apologetically replied, "Aunt, I was wrong before. Please be more forgiving of me." Seeing my sincere attitude, she pointed to the main room and said, "Your uncle is inside." I stepped forward and handed over the oil paper bag in my hand. "Aunt, this is the food I brought for Taiju and Xiaohua." She looked at me in confusion, put down the broom, and said, "Come with me." Upon entering the main room, the captain was sitting at the pit table, writing and drawing. Seeing that I had arrived, he said in a not-so-good tone, "Lulu, educated youth, are you here to ask for leave again?" I repeatedly waved my hands. No, Captain, tomorrow is Sunday, and the village doesn't have work. I would like to take a leave to call home." The captain's wife pulled him. "It's not easy for a young girl to come all the way from Beijing. Just grant her leave." The captain glanced at her. "All right, Lulu. Sending you to the countryside is for the good of building the country. It's not for you to slack off." I nodded repeatedly. After returning to the educated youth point, I began to pack my things. My father and brother were angry that I insisted on accompanying Hudson to the countryside, saying that I should build the country without necessarily choosing something I'm not good at. But didn't prepare much for me. Since I want to suffer, I shouldn't be deceived by false pretenses. The educated youth are here to contribute to society, not to enjoy life in the countryside. Hearing a knock at the door, I opened it. "It's Hudson, Lulu. Today Dongchuan and I caught 2 fish in the river. Don't you love eating fish? I had Zara make it braised. So come out and eat." He smiled gently, as if he were still the same as before. "Sure, Hudson, for Zara doesn't know how much he has taken from me. Just eating one of his fish is really a bargain for them." When she arrived at the kitchen, Zara was facing away from the door. Hearing footsteps, she said, "Hey Hudson bro, is Lulu still mad at me and unwilling to come for dinner?" As she spoke, she turned around. She saw me standing together with Hudson. A hint of embarrassment flashed across her face but quickly disappeared. "Lulu, I thought you didn't want to come. Please have a seat." I sat across from Hudson. Zara turned to serve the fish. Seeing the fish on the table, I couldn't help but frown. I am most afraid of the smell of fish. I only eat fish that is braised. Zara is making steamed fish. Hudson was also a bit unhappy. "Zara, didn't I tell you to make braised? You know Lulu doesn't eat steamed fish." Zara's eyes instantly turned red, tears welling up inside. "I'm sorry Lulu. I thought you had changed your picky habits." I ignored her, watching her perform as if it were just a side dish. Hudson impatiently waved his hand at her. All right, Lulu. You can eat something else. This roast chicken is something I specially traded for from the village chief." I ate and drank to my heart's content without any reservations. The next day, as soon as it was light, I packed my things and headed towards the village entrance. Only Uncle Wang from the Qingfeng Brigade has an ox cart. If you arrive late, you'll have to walk 20 miles to reach the town. Fortunately, I arrived early today. There are still 2 seats available. After I finish, I'll greet the several aunts in the car. No one is willing to pay attention to me, so I quietly lowered my head and leaned against the carriage to doze off. It's my fault. After going to the countryside, I looked down on the villagers and incurred their wrath. When the sky finally brightened, we arrived at the town. I gave Uncle Wang 2 cents and asked about the time to return to the village. After getting off the ox cart and stretching, the road is really bumpy. I stopped a passerby to ask for the post office address, then took my luggage and searched along the road. I arrived early. The post office had just opened. Hello. I want to make a call. A girl with 2 braided pigtails poked her head out from inside and said, "Making a call is expensive. Sending a letter costs 8 cents, and a telegram costs 24 cents. I smiled and said, "Thank you. I have an urgent matter. It's charged by the time. So go ahead and call." I trembled as I picked up the receiver and said, "Hello. I'm looking for Paul from the Northwest Military Region's 2nd Brigade, 4th Regiment." "Hello. I'm Paul. Who are you?" Hearing my brother's voice again made me so excited that I couldn't make a sound. "Hello? Brother. It's Lulu." My voice was tinged with tears. Paul's voice suddenly became urgent. "Lulu? What's wrong? Is it that the money isn't enough? I'm just about to send you a package." I clutched the microphone, knowing my brother couldn't see me, yet I couldn't help but shake my head. "Brother, Hudson and Zara are bullying me. I want to go home. I miss Dad and you." Paul softly comforted me. "Lulita, be good. Brother has to go on an urgent mission now. Can I come to pick you up in 10 days? Brother, don't tell Dad. His health isn't good." All right. You wait for your brother to pick you up." Paul came a voice urging from over there. "Lulita, brother has to hang up first. You wait for your brother." After finishing the call, I prepared to go to the market to see if I could buy some specialties for Dad and my brother. I have been in the countryside for 2 months, angry that my father and brother don't think highly of Hudson, and I haven't sent them anything. Returning to the Educated Youth Station, I took the 4 meat buns I bought from the state-run restaurant to Lily. She is the person in charge of the Educated Youth Station. Although she is dissatisfied with my lack of hard work, she teaches me everywhere. In my previous life, it was also she who discovered I was not in the room and went to call the regiment leader to find me. "Lily's sister, thank you for taking care of me all this time." Lily pushed the oil paper bag I placed in front of her. "Lu Mao comrade. With this kind of thought, you might as well focus on your work," I said bitterly. "Lily's sister, I am preparing to enlist in the cultural troop." I was previously blinded by my own desires, forcing myself down a path I am not good at. As long as I can contribute to the construction of the motherland, any path is the right one. She looked at me with appreciation. I again requested her, "Lily's sister, please don't tell everyone. Everyone else has to work, but I have to leave, which will inevitably cause unrest among them. You can rest assured, I won't tell anyone else." After a bit of pushing and shoving, I put down the steamed bun and quickly walked back to my room. As soon as the morning work whistle blew, I rolled out of bed, and my fellow educated youth looked at me in surprise. "How come you can get up today?" I smiled and remained silent. I have to stand my post until the very end. Today's group leader is the captain's wife. When it was my turn, I was assigned to weeding. I nodded. Weeding is the easiest job. Before I could thank her, a heavy thud sounded beside me. "It's Zara." Julia let out a scream and rushed over to grab Zara, shaking her and asking, "Zara, what's wrong?" Hudson also hurried over anxiously. Zara pretentiously opened her eyes and softly said, "Maybe I was too tired from taking Lulu up the mountain to find the jade pendant yesterday. I'm afraid I don't have the strength to work the fields." Julia immediately lifted her head and said to me, "Lulu, Zara's discomfort is also because of you. You should switch tasks with Zara." I said coldly, "Am I her father or her mother? I have to give in to her." Hudson sternly reprimanded me. "Lulu, how can you say that? You know very well that Zara is an orphan. Her father is a martyr." I smiled speechlessly. Hudson really talked too much nonsense and ended up deceiving himself. Hudson's dad, my dad, and Zara's dad were comrades, when only the 3 of them were left on the front line. Just before Zara's dad died, he shot at my dad from behind. Fortunately, my dad was lucky. My dad felt sorry for Zara, so he didn't report it to the higher-ups and left Zara with the identity of a martyr's family member. I found out about this from Hudson, who overheard it. The captain's wife was a bit impatient. "All right, don't waste everyone's time. Zara educated youth. If you can't work, go rest." We don't want any trouble for our brigade. After speaking, I turned to the scorekeeper, Zara. Today it's 0 points. After thanking the captain's wife, I followed her to work. When I returned to my room after work, I felt something was off. Someone had gone through my things. When I lifted the bedding where I hid my belongings, I found that the hair I had placed there was missing. Only Hudson knows about this habit of mine. Oh, so if you don't give it, you'll just steal it, huh? Fortunately, the jade pendant recognized its owner and disappeared. I rushed into Zara's room and started smashing things. Zara, so you came into my room to steal, huh? Lulu, what are you talking about? I'm not feeling well and have been lying in my room. Julia suddenly appeared out of nowhere and pushed me away. What the hell are you doing? Hudson squeezed through the crowd and said, Lulu, why are you bullying Zara again? I scoffed and forced a smile. What's the matter, Lulu? Nothing going on, Lulu, right? I stepped forward and yanked the blanket off Zara. Hudson, you know I'm the only one who hides things, right? Hudson looked a bit uncomfortable. What are you talking about, Lulu? I shouted at Zara. Tell me, where did you put the $300 I had in my tin box? Zara didn't react in time and blurted out. Where in your tin box is there 300? It's only 280. After saying that, she hurriedly covered her mouth. She looked at Hudson for help. Brother Hudson, I don't have it. Hudson looked at her with a loving expression and said, Lulu, you are a girl too. How can you spread rumors about another girl? I irritably waved my hand. Don't bring up irrelevant things. Anyway, I just need 300. You give me the money, and I'll leave. Zara looked at him in panic, tears in her eyes. Hudson straightened his chest, took out 300 from his room, handed it to me, and said seriously, Lulu, don't make things difficult for Zara anymore. If there's anything, just tell me. Cut. What a pretentious look. Zara has cheated me out of more than 300 yuan. The winter sun is very gentle, warming people pleasantly. Weeding is an easy job. I am counting the days in my heart. In 2 days, my brother will come to pick me up. Suddenly, the crowd began to buzz. I am too far away to hear what everyone is saying. Julia walked past me. Hey, Lulu, struggling hard to compete with Zara for the job, but her Zara's brother has come. While the officer? Stunned, right? I have some doubts. Zara, where did her brother come from? I followed the crowd towards the village entrance. From a distance, I saw a young man in military uniform standing beside a jeep, exceptionally handsome with a tall and straight figure. Zara stood beside him, looking shy. The villagers gathered around them, discussing in whispers. He must be an officer. He can even drive a jeep. Zara's educated youth brother is really handsome. I wonder if he has a wife. Wei Jun's wife. Even if he doesn't have a wife, he wouldn't look at your lazy daughter. My pupils dilated in an instant, and I ran towards him in surprise. Julia mocked from behind. You just stick to any man you see. It's not like you were licking Hudson back then. I hugged him tightly. Brother. Paul wrapped his arms around me and patted my head. Lolita, why have you gotten so dark? I pretended to be angry, puffing out my cheeks. This is a symbol of hard work. Very honorable. Paul burst into laughter. That's right. That's right. Lolita is right. Paul is 6 years older than me. Our mother passed away early. He happily calls me by my nickname Lolita. Zara put on a well-behaved look and said, Lulu, men and women should keep their distance. You can be happy to see your brother, but you can't hold on to him and not let go. Paul glanced at her and said, Who are you? Am I supposed to let you interrupt while I'm talking to my sister? Zara was choked and didn't know what to say. A furious voice came from behind Hudson. Lulu, what are you doing? Holding on to a man like that? Is it appropriate? He went to deliver documents to the commune for the regiment leader and just returned, still unaware that my brother had come. Paul let go of me and turned to look at him. What? Does Lu young master still have the right to meddle in my affairs? Hudson blushed, saying, Paul, I didn't know it was you. Paul ignored him. Lulu, get in the car. I obediently got into the car. Hudson and Zara couldn't dodge. getting sprayed with a cloud of exhaust dust. When we arrived at the educated youth station, Paul was waiting for me in the car while I went back to pack my things. I was packing the essentials into the suitcase. Julia quietly sneaked in, saying, "Lulu, isn't that Zara's brother? How did he become your brother?" I didn't want to respond to her, saying, "Aren't you on good terms with Zara? You can ask Zara yourself." She hesitated for a long time and then asked, "Is your brother getting married? What does it have to do with you whether my brother gets married or not?" She twisted awkwardly, blushing as she asked me, "What do you think of me?" I coldly replied, "I don't think much of you." Ignoring her frozen stance, I shouted towards the door, "Brother, Paul!" Paul responded and came in, carrying my luggage. "Lulu, how do you get to the regimental headquarters? We need to take care of your paperwork." I was taken aback. "Brother, what paperwork?" Paul gave me a blank stare. "You're going to the countryside for 2 months, not 2 years. You forgot. You already submitted your application to the cultural troupe, and there is a 3-month registration period. You can still make it if you go now." I held my head and thought, right. I had already signed up for the cultural troupe before going to the countryside, but I didn't report because I was busy with Hudson going to the countryside. I ran into Lily at the door. "Lily, thank you for your care. Lulu, I wish you a safe journey." When I arrived at the regimental headquarters, the regiment leader was already waiting. I smiled apologetically and stated my purpose. The regiment leader looked at me without surprise, saying, "I can tell you're not someone who does manual labor with those little arms and legs of yours." The paperwork was completed quickly, and my brother and the regiment leader thanked each other again. "Regiment leader, thank you for taking care of my sister." After speaking, Paul gave a salute. As soon as they exited the regimental headquarters, Hudson and Zara were standing at the door. Hudson looked anxious. "Paul, what brings you here?" Paul replied, "I'm here to take my sister home." Hudson asked in surprise, "Is Lulu taking leave to go home?" I wasn't informed. Paul mockingly shook his head. "It's not leave, it's a transfer." Zara stammered, "Isn't it a bit early for Lulu to go back? Won't people say that Mao uncle is abusing his power?" I said seriously, "I passed the selection of the cultural troupe and am going to enlist." Hudson urgently said, "Lulu, aren't we about to get engaged?" I frowned and said, "Hudson, our engagement was just a joke made by our parents when we were children. This is a new society, and marriage is free. Moreover, for the past 2 months, you've only told others that we are classmates. Why are you suddenly thinking about the engagement now?" Hudson said, "I'm afraid it will affect your reputation." I hesitated for a moment and said to him, "Come here, I need to talk to you." Paul was somewhat reluctant, so I tugged at his sleeve. He reluctantly nodded, walked to a position where Zara couldn't hear. I gently said, "Hudson, we've known each other for 10 years. I have something I want to ask you." Hearing my suddenly gentle tone, he happily replied, "Lulu, go ahead." "Zara, why do you insist on borrowing my jade pendant?" He paused and said, "Zara said that when she was young, she heard Mrs. Lee say that there was a secret in the jade pendant, and that you should keep it safe. She was just curious." I couldn't help but laugh. "It's just a joke my mom made with me. What secret could a jade pendant possibly hold? Besides, it's lost now anyway." He nodded in agreement, saying, "I tried to persuade her too, but she wouldn't listen." Having received the answer he wanted, he was too lazy to engage in pleasantries with him. As he was walking towards the car, he heard a commotion. Julia and Zara got into a fight. Julia has been working in the countryside for 5 years, accustomed to farm work, and is quite strong. Zara has pretended to be weak since childhood, looking frail and delicate. She was being pinned to the ground and beaten by Julia. "You little brat. Every day you talk about introducing me to your officer brother, sweet-talking me into running errands for you. After all this time, you were just playing me, weren't you? I didn't lie to you. This is my brother." Zara was lying on the ground, gasping for breath but still stubborn. Paul coldly said, "What do you mean by calling every cat and dog my sister? My sister is Lulu, and only her." Julia was even more furious. If I don't beat you until you cry for your father and mother today, I won't call myself Julia." A few vicious slaps landed on Zara's face. Zara let out a shrill scream, touching the bloodstains on her face, and roared as she knocked Julia over. "You cut my face, and I'm going to fight you." Hudson's disappointed expression was quickly drawn to Zara. He hurried over to help Zara up, saying, "Zara, are you okay?" With bloodstains on her face, Zara asked Hudson with a fierce expression, "Is my face okay?" Hudson turned his head away, saying, "Zara, inner beauty is what truly matters. To hell with your inner beauty. If it weren't for my looks attracting you, would you even bother to lift me up, Lulu?" Hudson's expression was one of disbelief. "Zara, how can you say that? I thought we were on the same wavelength." The onlookers nearby burst into laughter. "I didn't expect how fierce the fights are in this city. Ha 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 ha." Hudson is really funny when he talks, bullying Lulu and pretending to be her brother. How shameless. This Zara is just a cheap person, using my dog to do her work for free, and she won't even agree to date. Hearing the mocking voices around her, Zara collapsed and ran away screaming. Julia wasn't done yet and followed after her. Hudson looked even more lost and dejected. After watching the farce, I turned to Paul and said, "Bro, let's go." Paul looked at me with concern. "Is this really all for such a brainless fool?" I said expressionlessly, "All right. It's impolite to say more. Ha 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 ha." After 2 days of travel, we finally arrived at the military camp. I got out of the car and stretched. Paul looked at my tired appearance. "If you're this exhausted from sitting in the car, what will you do if you have to drive for 2 days?" I chuckled. "I have my brother. You know." I looked around. "So this is your station. Didn't Dad also get transferred to the Northwest Military Region?" "Where is Dad?" Paul pulled out the luggage from the trunk. "He's at home." Walking past the training ground, a row of bungalows is neatly arranged. As I was looking around, a soldier walked towards me. "Cashin, you're not on duty today?" Cashin is tall, with handsome features that reveal a stern demeanor, and his gaze is very sharp. He nodded. "Today it's Captain Wang's turn on duty." Paul pulled me over. "This is my sister, Lulu." I obediently greeted her. He politely nodded in acknowledgement. After walking away, my brother teased me. "So, how is he compared to your Hudson? A 25-year-old regimental officer is not much worse than your brother." I rolled my eyes. "How can you always end up praising yourself?" I walked in front of a 3-story villa. We arrived. "This is our home." As soon as I entered, my dad Leo Mao was anxiously pacing beside the sofa. "Dad, I'm back." His face lit up with joy but quickly turned serious, saying, "Aren't you supposed to be in the countryside? Why are you back after just 2 months?" Hearing the intimacy in his words, my nose tinged with emotion, and tears fell. "Dad, I missed you so much." Leo worriedly pulled me in. "What's wrong, Lolita? Did I say something too harsh?" I cried so hard that I couldn't catch my breath. Shaking my head, Leo seriously asked, "Paul, did you bully Lolita?" Paul anxiously waved his hands. "How could I dare? It was her who was bullied by Hudson and Zara." Leo's expression changed. "What happened?" I tearfully recounted what had happened since I arrived in the countryside. Leo held me tightly. "Dad will avenge Lolita." Exhausted from crying, I had dinner and returned to my room early to rest. Leo sternly said to Paul, "Lolita is kind-hearted, but she cannot suffer in silence." I originally thought Zara's maid was a good person, but I didn't expect her to join Hudson in bullying Lolita, who is so honest. Paul asked in a low voice, "What do you plan to do?" "I will report to the commander and erase the martyr status that doesn't belong to Zara." "What about Hudson? The Liu family's reach is too long. Someone wants to take action against Liu Yuan since we will be in-laws in the future." I plan to remind him. For now, let the Liu family bring about their own downfall. Paul seriously nodded, then joked, "I think Cashin is not bad. He barely matches Lulu." Leo threw a punch at Paul's shoulder. Paul slightly swayed his body and said, "I think you need to work out more. Starting tomorrow, add 10 kilometers of weighted training every day." Paul stared wide-eyed and gritted his teeth. "Yes." I went home and slept well, waking up early. When I went downstairs, only Leo was reading the newspaper. Dad, where's my brother? What does your brother care about you? I don't know where he ran off to early. I wondered. But yesterday my brother said he still had 3 days of vacation left. Leo cleared his throat and said, hurry up and eat. It's going to get cold. The guard came out of the kitchen and reported, Commander, the cleaning is complete. Leo nodded and said, Alex, later you take Lulu to report to the cultural troop. She just arrived and doesn't know the way. Yes, Commander. I ran into Cashin just after leaving the house. I was conflicted about whether to say hello. He said seriously, Comrade Mao, what brings you to the cultural troop? I smiled and said, I'm here to report. He pondered for a moment and said to Alex, I'll take Comrade Mao to report. You go back and take care of Commander Mao. Alex hesitated and said, isn't today the military camp meeting? Don't you need to go? Cashin with a serious expression said, I have important matters. After saying that, he nodded at me, signaling me to follow. I greeted Alex and quickly followed. I just pushed open the door to the cultural troops office. A gentle voice said, Cashin, why are you here again? Didn't you come to deliver the documents? Cashin coldly replied, Mom, this is Lulu, here to report. I awkwardly emerged from behind him. Hello, I am Lulu. Cashin's mother had strikingly beautiful features, a very flamboyant beauty. Seeing me emerge from Cashin's back, I revealed a hint of an inscrutable smile. I whispered to Cashin, well done. You need to work hard for such a beautiful girl. After speaking, Dad gently handed me a stack of documents, saying, Lulu, please fill out this information. I shyly glanced at Cashin. He still had a blank expression, but his ears were red. Mom, I'm leaving. Comrade, I'm leaving first. If there's anything, you can find my mom. She is the head of the cultural troop. I bit my lip and nodded with a flushed face. Cashin mom smiled and said, all right. You've finished your explanation. Now hurry up and go. Lulu, my name is Analu. In the troop you can call me the leader. Outside just call me Mrs. Lu. I smiled and said, thank you Mrs. Lu. She laughed so hard that she trembled like a flower. After training, Paul caught up with the Cashin in front. He pulled him in and said, speak. What are you up to? Alex said you personally sent Lulu to the cultural troop. Are you really that enthusiastic? Cashin, with a sincere expression, said, aren't we good brothers? Helping your sister is quite fitting, right? Paul shook his body and said, when did you start talking so disgustingly? Cashin casually asked. Lulu, how old are you? Paul nonchalantly replied, 18. Of course. Cashin wore a faint smile. Paul changed his expression. Who told you to call me sister so intimately? Cashin leisurely said, you're a year older than me. You're my brother. So who is it that refuses to call me brother? You're acting strange. The two of them playfully bickered as they moved forward. After a month, I gradually got used to the peaceful life. The memories of being torn apart by a wild boar in my past life no longer appear in my dreams. I secretly added spiritual spring to my family's tea. Mrs. Lu takes great care of me. Mrs. Lu said Cashin's father is often busy with work and not at home, and she often invites me to her house for dinner. But I always seem to run into Cashin. After a few times, I got used to it. That day, Mrs. Lu invited me to her house to see the flowers. A soldier on guard at the military camp suddenly stopped me and said someone at the door wanted to see me. I was still wondering who it could be. At the door, a woman with a thick scarf covering her face saw me and shouted loudly, Lulu, it's me, Zara. I walked over slowly. I scoffed and said, what are you doing here? Is your brother here? She said in a pleading tone, I want to see Uncle Mao. I want to ask why someone came to inform me that my martyr status has been revoked. Well, you think about it. After I finished speaking, I was ready to walk away. She eagerly reached out her hand to stop me. I took 2 steps back. Who knows what tricks she has up her sleeve? She slowly took off her scarf. I leaned back in fear. Her face was covered in scars, which looked frightening at first glance. In a low tone, she said, Julia splashed sulfuric acid on my face. and the doctor said it can't be cured. The martyr's subsidy is very important to me. Please. Lulu, let me see Uncle Mao. I scoffed. Don't you know why your martyr's subsidy was stopped? Didn't Hudson tell you? Her hands stiffened. With a twisted face, she went mad trying to grab you. You have everything. Why do you still want to take my things? Hudson. Yes. The subsidy too. I disdainfully recoiled, landing in an embrace. When I looked up, it was Cashin. What are you doing here? He calmly said. My mom couldn't wait for you. Worried something might happen. So she sent me to find you. I nodded slightly. Let's go. Don't keep Mrs. Liu waiting, Cashin sternly said to the duty soldier. From now on, when this person comes, do not report her. If she causes a scene at the gate again, she will be sent to the police. Ignoring the Zara malicious insults behind her. When people make mistakes, they always like to find reasons in others, never looking for faults within themselves. Entering Liu's house, I didn't see Mrs. Liu. I asked Cashin in confusion. Where is Mrs. Liu? Isn't she waiting anxiously? Cashin blushed and said, she might have gone out for something. I lowered my head in understanding. He suddenly stood up and said seriously, Lulu, I am 25 this year, a group leader, earning 78 yuan a month. There are bonuses for tasks, and I have saved 1,500 yuan. If you don't want to live with my mom after we get married, I can apply for separate housing. I can cook and do laundry. I will take care of all the housework after we marry. If you want to have children, we can. And if you don't, we won't. If my parents pressure us to have kids, I will handle them. My face turned bright red. I've already written the marriage report. If you agree, I can go find the commander to sign it now. I lowered my head and stammered. Let me think about it. He said solemnly. What I say is always valid. I will love you as I love my motherland. Home. Leo and Paul sat on the sofa with grim faces. Dad. Brother. What's going on? What happened? I leaned in fearfully. Leo looked up with red eyes and said, Lulita, Dad doesn't want you to get married. Paul with a mournful face cried out. I knew that guy was trouble. I am somewhat speechless. How did you know? Leo grimly said, you think you can marry my daughter without my consent? Do you think I, Leo, am a pushover? Dad, Cashin's house is right next to ours. Dad doesn't care. If you don't want to get married, I'll support you. Brother can take care of you too. Ignoring these two, I turned and went back to my room. Thinking about Cashin, I tossed and turned in bed. In my dreams, it was all about Cashin. After the cultural troop training ended, I ran into Cashin again. This is the 12th time this week. Aren't you busy? Cashin seriously said. The commander said I'm 25 now. I need to resolve my personal issues first. I walked forward in a huff. Lulu. Hudson? What are you doing here? I spoke with a tone of disdain. I missed you, so I came to find you. He stammered. Zara? Aren't you two inseparable? Don't mention her. If it weren't for her stirring things up, we would have been married long ago. Hudson looked at me with deep affection. Stop it. We've already made things clear. Please stay away from me. Lulu, you specifically came to the military district my dad knows. Didn't you mean to hint that I should come find you? I looked at him speechlessly. Is it possible that my dad is also here? My brother too? He looked at me in disbelief. I turned to Cashin. Let me introduce you. My fiancé. Hudson stumbled back a step. I don't believe it. You're just trying to provoke me. He was about to reach out and grab me. Cashin stepped forward and pulled him away. Be polite to my fiancé. The sound of running footsteps came from not far away. Two soldiers approached and subdued Hudson. Thank you, Commander Cashin. Commander Liu was caught for corruption. We are here to expel Hudson. Hudson struggled desperately, saying, Lulu, go plead with Mao uncle to help my dad. I'm willing to marry you. I said seriously to the two soldiers. Hurry up and take him away. He's talking nonsense. Cashin asked me with feigned calmness. Am I your fiancé? I teased him. What's wrong? Not happy? He was taken aback, stumbled a bit, and ran away. I asked him in confusion, Where are you going? To find the brigade commander to file a marriage report. A month passed. Dad told me that after Hudson's father was arrested for bribery, the Liu family completely collapsed. Hudson was sent back to the Qingfeng brigade. He couldn't bear the blow, complaining about Zara all day, and Zara resented him as well. In a moment of desperation, they killed each other. I raised an eyebrow. Consider it my wedding gift. Dad, brother, have you prepared my wedding speech for tomorrow? Leo and Paul cried as they embraced each other.